Mangas, animes, good food. The Japanese culture is in all our lives, but in the last 2.5 years since COVID, the borders were closed and no tourists could visit Japan. But finally, 11th October last month, the borders opened.
And if you're thinking of going to Japan, right now is really the perfect time in the next couple of months, because since everything just opened for tourists, there's not going to be a lot of people. So you will be beating the crowds and being able to see famous places without a huge amount of people. So this is why you should go to Japan, and here are the ways you can do so. Number one, vaccines. So this is usually the number one question people have. What do I need to enter Japan? What vaccinations do I need? So there are right now, two options to enter into Japan. Number one is you're fully vaccinated, and fully vaccinated means you have 3 vaccines of most of the typical vaccines. Or if you're not fully vaccinated, you still can travel to Japan. You do not need to quarantine. The only thing that you need to do is take a PCR test within 72 hours to enter into Japan. So that means a lot of people can enter in Japan, either if you're vaccinated or if you're not vaccinated. Of course, if you are vaccinated, Japan has started a couple of things, like you get discounts on going to Universal Studios Japan or Disneyland or a lot of other things in Japan. So there are a lot of benefits if you are vaccinated, but if you are not vaccinated, you can also travel to Japan right now.
And we really suggest for everyone who have to get a PCR test, or in general like a test, try to get it in Japanese and in paper form. Like we read in so many places that Japanese bureaucracy is similar to German. They love paper, so don't just get it on your phone, just print it out. It's like, they want the paper form proof to be safer, so just do that.
And also for your vaccine too. So everything you have in paper, bring it. So we got vaccinated first in the US, so we have our US paper card, and then we also have our yellow vaccine booklets from when we got vaccinated in Germany, as well as our QR code that is recognized in the EU, but we don't know if it will be recognized in Japan. So that's a big thing, is if you have the paper version of any of your documents, bring it just in case.
You need an app. It's like the one when you ever went to Bali, you have the Pedolinki app. It's the same with Japan. There's like a called My SOS app, but this app is just valid until the 15th of November. So from the 15th November, you have to apply online on a website called Visit Japan. We will link it in the bio.
Website down. Yeah. And it's super simple, it's super easy. It's just pretty much entering your data, and I think also attaching photos of your documents. We have not done it yet, but we will do it.
Like vaccination, your passport, like flight information, stuff like that, and then you get I think it takes like 24 hours, and then you get you're okay, and then you can just, you arrive at the airport, and then you can take the fast track lane, and you don't have to download this stuff and like fill out the paper stuff at the airport. So don't stress you out, just do it easy at home on your couch.
We read a lot about it, and it just will save you hours and hours of time if you do it beforehand. And that's always what we recommend before traveling, is just do everything before, so you're sure you have good Wi-Fi, you're sure that you don't run into any problems, because the last thing you want is to fly all the way to Japan not to be let in because you don't have something. So do it all before you leave. That's the best.
Number 3, so when you arrived in Japan, you're done with everything. You arrive finally, you want to go to the train, public transportation, or like you want to call a car, like a taxi to get to your hotel. In Japan, it's still, it's not mandatory from the government. It's like not a rule, but everyone, like more than 80% of the people, still wearing masks everywhere inside. So if you just out of respect and because everyone else is doing it, just wear a mask when you're in the car, when you're in the, shopping somewhere, when you're in like closed places, inside, just wear a mask.
You might be asking and wondering who can enter Japan and how long can you stay in Japan. So we don't have the whole list of who can enter Japan, what countries you can come from to need a visa or not need a visa. For the most part, we know that there is a long list of countries where you can enter Japan and go and stay there for 3 months in total on a tourist visa. So you don't need to apply for a visa in advance. You don't need to do anything. You can just arrive at the airport and get your 3-month visa stamp, and then you're good to go. We will link a website for you to look if the place you come from allows you to do that or not, but there is a large list of countries where you are allowed to do so, which is pretty awesome. So you may be asking, if you're thinking about, okay, it all sounds good, I want to go to Japan because Japan's open now, I've been always dreaming about going to Japan, so...
But when is
When?
the question. We will travel to Japan in December, mid of December. So it is winter, it will be cold, that's why we had like a shopping spree. You can watch the video from last week from our shopping spree in KL. Yeah, because we decided to go in winter. It will be cold, but we're still going to do it. We will stay around 3 months. We will see how the weather is changing.
Winter in Japan compared to other places is a lot more mild. So you can go to areas in Japan where the weather is, of course, still chilly, but not super cold. And then, of course, in Tokyo or Osaka or some of the bigger cities, it will be winter, it will be cold, you will need winter clothes, but it's not going to be super packed with snow or anything too crazy. Of course, Japan is a huge place for skiing. There is a lot of great ski resorts, so that's always a plus. And really, any time to go to Japan is beautiful, just because there's so much to see and do in any season, and also too, going to all of the beautiful temples and castles and everything in winter where things are covered in snow also will be very magical. So I hope we helped, we convinced you. It's really the most perfect time to go to Japan, and everything just became easier since the borders opened.
And like always, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and here you can watch the video from last week about our shopping spree for Japan.
Check our bio because we are going to attach more information for you to make your life easier.